Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? What's up? Happy Tuesday to you all. It is now time for another live edition of the Raw Rundown here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel, as well over on Twitch. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are all doing oh so well here on this Tuesday. It is April 1st. For those of you who celebrate, happy April Fool's Day. I hope you pranked someone really good today. I hope you really, really did. I hope it was a good prank for those of you who do celebrate and stuff like that. But it is what it is. Look, it is April 1st, but for me right now, look, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm just counting down these days. The way I look at this, it's 15 more days, y'all. 15 more days until I take that flight. Take that flight and WrestleMania weekend. Celebrate with the boys, Chase, the rest of the gang. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. But I'm just counting it down. Like today, work as a whole, like in this early morning, was just a fucking drag for real. Maybe it's also factor in. I just came back from the weekend and it's like just a drag, but also factoring in like here's the thing. I work at an airport. Okay, I work at the airport, so I get to see from where I'm at. I see all the planes like United, American Airlines, Delta, and all that stuff, right? Like leaving and showing up. And for me, it's like, yo, in 15 more days, I'm on the other side because I work in the cargo area of the airport, right? So I'm like, yeah, I just can't wait. I'm counting it down. Big Mike, is your mic plugged in? It should be plugged in. Do y'all hear me? Do y'all hear me? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let me just play it back. Let me just see if I hear myself. Let me see here. Oh, no wonder why. There we go. Do y'all hear me now? Do you hear me now? Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. Do y'all hear me now? Much better. All right, guys. My bad, guys. My bad. Big Mike, we miss you, brother. We miss you. For real, for real. I hear you. Now you hear me. Yeah, I apologize for that. My mic was a little I had to reset my computer too. I had to reset it because it was acting the fuck up. So for myself, I will play myself this clip.
You can't even get the mic to work. I mean, come on. What else?
Yeah, that's clear. Yes, that is clear. But what's going on, everyone? I hope you're all having a wonderful day. A happy April Fool's Day. I'm gonna repeat myself here for the fuck of it. Happy April Fool's Day for those of you who celebrate and all that fun stuff. And look, I hope today, if you pranked someone today, I hope it was a good one. I hope you guys prank someone. If it was a good prank, I hope it was a good prank. Okay, or for the most part. I remember, what was it, a couple years back, I passed off as one of my coworkers at my supermarket job, right? And I called out, basically, passing off as them. I called out, passing off as the person and shit. And when they got to work, like, oh, you called out. What are you doing here? And then I just hit them with the April Fools and shit. But I hope you guys top that, whatever the case may be. But look, it is April 1st. I had a mic issue, I had a computer issue, so I had to reset the computer and all that stuff. But here we are, we're rocking and rolling here. For the most part, look, like I said earlier, when you guys were like, couldn't hear me and shit. I know it's April 1st, but I'm just counting it down. Like 15 more days, y'all. 15 more days until I make that trip over to Las Vegas, Nevada for WrestleMania weekend. I can't wait. I can't wait. I leave on the 16th. I meet up with Chase in California, and from there we are driving all the way to Vegas. Cannot wait. Can't wait. And it's crazy too because like I work at the airport. So I work in the cargo area of the airport. So I see all the planes on the other side. I see like Delta, American Airlines, Air Canada, JetBlue, and all that stuff. And I see these planes leaving and arriving, right? And today work was just a fucking drag. And I'm like, Man, I just can't wait to be on the other side in a couple of days. I just can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, can't wait. If you know what I'm saying. What's going on, Dark Sage? Long time no see. A long time no read of your comments here. You know who's going to win at WrestleMania? A wrestler who will defeat another wrestler in a match. Again, said wrestler. So much so that if I'm wrong, I will quit Twitch. Oh, brother, don't quit Twitch, bro. We need you on Twitch, brother. We need you. Even though most of the interactions are on YouTube, we're on Twitch. But we're on YouTube. I'm sorry. But much love for Twitch as well. Much love for Twitch. But yeah, this is the Raw recap. The Raw recap from last night. I'm sorry, last afternoon. I'm so used to saying last night, but the fact that these folks were in Europe these last couple of weeks, part of the European tour, it's finally come to an end. And look, I'll be honest with you guys. I know a lot of us were happy, right? Raw was early in the day, 3 p.m., 4 p.m. You get to watch Monday Night Raw live on Netflix, and then you just go on with your day. Just go on about your day, whatever the heck it might have been consisted of, right? And even for SmackDown, I know SmackDown's at 8 p.m. here on the East Coast, but here in the Northeast, you're in the States. But if you had that VPN and you tricked your computer, you tricked whatever the case may be, that you were not in the States, but you were across the pond, you were able to watch Raw on Netflix, 3 p.m., 4 p.m., instead of the traditional 8 p.m. on the USA Network. So for that aspect, it was cool. It was different, But I ain't going to lie to you. I'm kind of glad this is over with. Because now it's like, now we're on the road. Right now, we're almost at WrestleMania. I'll be honest, too. A part of me kind of wishes, like, next time, do the European tour after WrestleMania. If I'm going to be honest, just do the European tour after WrestleMania. Okay? And I do hope you understand this. Yeah. Like, you will not be hearing those singing crowds probably until WrestleMania or WrestleMania weekend, whatever it may be. But it was cool. It was a blast. All right. For the most part. But Raw last night was live from London, England. I believe it was the O2 Arena. I just want to get this right. I don't want to butcher this shit after all. Yeah, it was the O2 Arena in London, England. It was the end of the European tour. And I got to say, for the most part, I enjoyed it. I thought Raw last afternoon was better than SmackDown on Friday. For the most part, like, if you watch SmackDown, like, I'll be honest, I don't watch all 3 hours of SmackDown. I just don't. 3 hours of SmackDown is just a fucking chore. It's become a fucking chore, right? But for the most part, what I normally when I watch SmackDown, I just watch, couple, like, just the 2 hours of it. I watched from 9 to 11, right? And I saw the contract signing of Roman, Punk, and Rollins, and Punk is closing the show and all that stuff. And I thought that was the cool part of the show, right? But then we get to Monday Night Raw. Then we get to Monday. We get to Monday Night Raw last night, and I thought for the most part, I thought the show was better than SmackDown. I thought for the most part, we finally kicked it into gear here, right? I almost said full gear, but you get what I'm saying regarding Cody and Cena. We finally got it into motion, right? They had their third face off, and I thought out of the three face off that they had, this was the better one, because then they went at it, right? And that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see if Cody Rhodes can hang with John Cena. Because for the most part, like, it's been Cena showing up, going off on the crowd, right? And Cody shows up, and then Cena leaves, doesn't say anything. Here we finally got, like, all right, here's John Cena, here's Cody Rhodes. They're gonna go at it. They're gonna talk. They're gonna go at it, right? And for the most part, I thought it was great. That opening segment was just, all right, what can happen here, right? What can possibly happen? And boy, oh boy, these two guys went off on each other. They did. If you ask me who had the better, like, who won, if you will, I would say Cena. I thought Cena edged him by a couple points, in my opinion. Right? Not saying Cody, looked bad out there. No, but he literally got, again, he was able to hang in there with John Cena, which is important. Well, the only thing that sucks, though, the only thing that kind of like ticks me off here is this is it for Cena. We're not going to see him until WrestleMania. We're not going to see him until WrestleMania, pretty much. We won't see him. He's going to go off and do his movies and stuff. But I kind of wish, like, again, he was more in the mix as we get close to Mania, if you will. What's going on, brother? What's going on? But for the most part, I thought, there we go. We're fixed. We're good. But I thought for the most part, again, they went at it. Cody said that it must bother, John that he's facing Star. Because here's the thing, right? So Cody proceeded to say, you know what? I know what you're going to say about me, basically, right? Like, I'll throw some references. I'll throw some references to you. You could say that I have a lisp, right? Like, look when I say Stardust, right? And it must bother John Cena that he is facing Stardust at WrestleMania in the main event, right? And then he referenced the fact that, hey, he created a company that he got booed in. He referenced that also. And then Cena mentioned that, Cena said that Cody is a blob of every superstar that he loved. Then Cody went on to mention that Cena hangs around with Zac Efron and act like he's 16 because Cena referenced the fact, that Cody basically looks like a 16-year-old kid in acting class who's afraid of public speaking. And that would lead to Cody, referencing the Zac Efron line. To which then Cena said, if I have it here real quick, Cena said he worked too hard to make WWE the WWE Championship a symbol of mastery. But now it's carried by somebody who's mediocre. And also referenced the fact that, Cena referenced the fact that Cody was his chauffeur, right? That the person who's now the guy in the company was his chauffeur. His chauffeur now at one point, but now this is the guy, right? He copy and pasted everything from Cena, right? And then Cody referenced the fact, but you know what? You say, they chosen me, that the company chose him, but no, it was the people who chose Cody, to which Cody then threw back, you were chosen by one person who's no longer here, who we will not mention by name. We will not mention by name. Will not mention by name. And that got a pop as well. That got a pop. And then what really got people going, this is the line here. And I thought this was like, this was like that in the fight, when you watch a boxing fight and you see like when they throw a body shot, right? And that felt like a body shot when Cena said, I've built empires for billionaires, when all you did was steal money from their kids. And that is the part that got people like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That is insane, if you will. That got people like, that's, man, that was like, wow, right? And here's the thing, too, and I've seen this online as well, like, because you've seen this from the, the sickos out there. The sickos, if you will. This got them going, too. Like, Cena said that at a time when, there's a pay-per-view on Sunday, which I totally forgot, by the way. I totally forgot that there's a pay-per-view on Sunday. Dynasty, John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, world title. Yeah. But people were mad at that, right? People were like, oh, why would he say this and that? But yet people didn't feel some kind of way when Cody said that, oh, I got booed in a company that I created. That went over everyone's head. But for the most part, that was like when Cena said that, though, that was like, oh, wow. And then he left. And it's like you see Cody's like, damn, he got me here. And he had to say, the one thing, no matter how long it's been, the one thing these people have never chanted to me, never said to me, that I can't wrestle. Insinuating that Cena, the crowd have been saying for years that he can't wrestle. He can't wrestle. And this leads to Cena to get back into the ring. They're about to go at it. They're about to brawl. Cena leaves. Like he teases that he's leaving. He teases it. And then he gets back. He literally tried to do a cheap shot, and Cody hits the crossroads. And that's when we close the segment. This was great. I thought Cena won here for sure. You can't tell me differently. But I thought Cody hung in there as well. Tweet right here. What's your thoughts on Cena using wrestling lingo on the mic? I tend to cringe when I hear it. That's just me, though. I feel like Cena is that exception, though. I feel like Cena can say it because, again, for so long, he was the top guy. For so long, he had to endure people saying these things about him, right? And being that Cody is the symbol of all the wrestling lingos and stuff like that. And Cody, for years, even in AEW, was throwing around these wrestling lingos. It's fine. But I think also this factor in, too, I've seen a lot of the AEW fans who were upset about Cody and all that stuff. And I will say this, too. I feel like he's the exception. And I am not alone. I'm here joined by the good brother from beautiful California, the one, the only Chase Oliver. Chase, what's going on, bro?
Nothing much, Steve. Here for another episode of the Raw Rundown.
Exactly, brother. Look, man, it's April 1st, but I'm just counting it down. Like I said earlier, bro, 15 more days, bro.
Oh, Steve, I don't know if you noticed, but the tickets I got for WrestleMania, they're actually fake.
Wait a minute. What?
Yeah, turns out I got scammed. So
oh shit.
We're
doing Barmania?
Huh?
Barmania, Barmania.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the pool and everything. I'm so sorry, Steve. And by the way, it's April Fool's. Tickets are 100% legit, 100% real.
Oh, come on. That was a good one. That was a good, like we talked about earlier, like, what are some of the good pranks that people might have pulled and shit like that? I said this earlier, like I passed off as one of my old coworkers from my supermarket job and I called out for them.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, I never did April Fool's pranks and stuff. I think the best one that I did, but I deleted the post. My friend just had a kid, so I asked if I could pose with her kid and say I'm happy to be a dad and stuff. And so I did that on April 1st and stuff. I'm so cool with that person. I just deleted it because I was like, some people might scroll through my Insta and they might not notice that I was joking. So they're going to be like, oh, where's your daughter and stuff? And it was like, did you not see the date? I didn't even put April Fools. I literally just put happy to be a dad of this beautiful girl. And all my friends like, you didn't tell us, like, oh my god, da 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 and stuff. And then it was like, only like two of my friends got it. They were like, oh yeah, that was an April Fool's prank and stuff and whatnot. So like it kind of backfired. So that's why I deleted it, because I kept it up for like a year on my Insta and then I deleted it, and then I made sure to delete it on Facebook too, because I just didn't want people to think, because like I wasn't posting anything about her and stuff, and then it kind of make me look like I'm some deadbeat dad. So I was like, I don't want to look like I'm a deadbeat, like and stuff.
Hey, Chase, you're not
because
making
I was still friends with the mom, so I was still taking pictures with her and stuff. So it was just like, well, not taking pictures with her, but I was still hanging out with her. So then it would just be, so then I was like, yeah, I don't want people thinking that like, oh, if I hang out with her and the kid's there, they think, oh, is that your daughter, Chase? They on Instagram and stuff, and it's like, and stuff. So that, I think that was my funniest one, but I never did any as kids. I used to, because I had a deep voice all the time. Like,
yeah.
My balls dropped when I was in like 7th grade. Like I've always had a deep voice in 7th grade. I used to get teased for having a deep voice,
Oh
but
yeah.
because of my deep voice and stuff, like one time I called the middle school and my friend was sitting next to me. So he heard like they thought it was my dad talking to them. And my friend's like, dude, you could probably like pull off so many people's dads from like middle school to like junior year in high school. I like my friends, I would literally like charge $5, just give me $5, and I would call out for kids as their parents and stuff like that. Like it was like the most hilarious thing, dude, and stuff. And so then like I would just like call the school up and be like, yeah, Kelsey's not feeling good today. Yeah. So like because my voice was so damn deep. Like people literally like were thinking I was the parents because my voice on the phone is totally different than how my voice is in real life. So no one knew, no one caught on to it either, man. Like it was crazy. Like I was like 22 different people's dads. I have my regulars, like I have my regular people and stuff. I had this one girl, her name was Sammy. She would always call out. So she just sent me a text, be like, hey, can you pretend to be my dad? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I got you. Call and stuff. And then like for the school, just so that way they wouldn't recognize my number and shit like that. I changed my phone number in the school books to my brother's number because his number was just one off, and my brother was homeschooled. So I told him like, yeah, if the school ever calls and stuff like that, just let me know. And he was like, yeah, no problem. So my brother kind of was like that, and then I would just use my cell on private to call the school. But just in case they ever backtrack, then I want to get in trouble and stuff because they're like, oh, that's not his cell number. His cell number is this and stuff. So like I was like, yeah, I was trying to make sure I was covering my bases. But yeah, since having a deep voice, I was always like, I guess a prank. Like I was just always like pretending to be someone's dad or something. Like I think the craziest was my friend wanted me to pretend to be their dad talking to their aunt. So their aunt was their mom's sister, and she was like, she'll kill me. She finds out I'm at this party. Chase, can you pull this off? And I'm like, bro, I don't even know anything about your aunt. Like, how am I gonna pull this off? And I pulled it off somehow. Like I pulled it off. I was really shocked how I pulled that off and stuff. Like I was all like, she goes like, you just have to lower your voice just a little bit more and stuff. So yeah, so a lot of my impersonations came from like talking to him and stuff. And it's crazy. Like I've never been like called out on it or anything like that. Like it's actually like one of the things people remember me from my high school reunion. Like we did like a Facebook thing, and I'm not really that active on social media besides here on YouTube and X. Most of my friends aren't. They still on the Facebook and Instagram wave and stuff.
Same.
So like they posted like a post. They said, oh, share a memory with like say someone's name and share a memory with them and stuff. And then one person posted, they're like, yo, I don't know where at Chase Oliver is at, but that guy was one of the funniest kids that I met. And then everyone's like, remember how we used to ask him to pretend to be our parents and stuff? Like that was just like all these posts, like literally all the posts were like, dude, you asked Chase too and stuff. Like everyone's like, the thing was because my name was uncommon. My name is Chase. Like I was the only Chase from like there was one other Chase, but he was a senior when I was a freshman. Once he graduated, there was no other Chases. It was just me. So like people from like all 4 years, everyone kind of knew it was like, oh, Chase did this, Chase did that. Like you just said Chase. People knew who it was, or like my last name was Oliver, so people would call me Oliver all the time too. So people knew who I was and stuff. Like one of them was funny. Like they're like, I remember I always thought his name was Oliver, and then when I learned it's Chase, I felt bad because I kept calling him Oliver, but he didn't care and stuff. The only nice one that I saw that wasn't like people saying I was pretending to be their parents or I was just a generally nice guy that would help people out. The one that I saw that really touched me was like my chem partner. I never kept track with her and stuff. She was the worst chemistry partner I've ever had, like the worst, the absolute worst. And she goes, I was horrible in chemistry in 11th grade, and I won't deny Chase carried me to an A. I always appreciate how patient and kind he was with me, even though I knew it was 7 in the morning. He probably wanted to kill my guts. I only replied to her, and I was like, "Yeah, I fucking hated you." I literally just said that. And I said, "Yeah, I literally just said, yeah, I fucking hated you." And then later on, they're like, and she goes, "Please forgive me." And stuff, and I was like, "Buy me a drink, and if you're going to the reunion, buy me a drink. It's all forgiven."
For sure.
Because I
cheap
was
rates
no,
there.
she pissed me off, man. She pissed me off. Just like how Cena was pissed at Cody, I was pissed at her. I was like, man, this woman did not do anything. Like just chewing bubble gum on her phone. Like she was one of the first, like, because I don't know if you guys know this. I'm older than most people, but most people did not have iPhones at the time. I like in my grade at least. Like,
Blackberries,
huh?
Blackberries.
Yeah, Blackberries. I had a flip phone with the keyboard and stuff. So like iMessages, phones, and stuff like that. She was the one of the first people like with like 11th grade. That's when more people started to get some smartphones. But for the most part, everyone still had like a certain phone and stuff. Like I still have my Razor and whatnot.
Oh, the good
Yeah,
old days.
I was a badass, bro. I had two phones. I had my Razor for calling people. I had two SIM cards. So I had my Razor to call people, and then I had what's it called? Just like a wannabe sidekick. It wasn't a sidekick. It was just like an AT&T version of it, but it was to text
Oh,
people. But
I
I
know
would get I would get the messages from both phones. For whatever reason, AT&T didn't realize I had two different phones that worked. So I got away with it for the longest time and stuff. And then that texting phone died, and so I just had a Razor up until my sophomore year in college. And then I found an old work phone that my dad had, and I just threw my SIM in there. And my mom, she was working out of state at the time, so she came home for Thanksgiving, and she saw my phone, and she could not believe it. She was like, "This is what you're working with?" And I remember I woke up after Black Friday. She came into my room. She threw down the Samsung Galaxy like S3. She goes, "This is your new phone. Deal with it."
that
And I
was
was like,
funny enough. That was my first Galaxy phone. The
"Yeah,
S3. Oh,
yeah."
bro.
I was so confused and stuff, and so then I was I was appreciative. I was like, "Oh, thanks, mom." I was like, "Oh," I said, "What's the difference between this and iPhone?" And she goes like, "I know you won't figure out an iPhone because and stuff. They said this phone is much better than iPhone, da 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 da, and stuff." Like my mom's a tech person, so I trust anything she says for tech. I
Yeah.
remember it was so embarrassing because I finally got like an actual phone for apps. There was this person in my class that I was taking at the time in college, and I tapped him on the shoulder. I'm like, "Hey man, how do you download apps on this?" Because like I saw he had a Samsung too. Because like
Play Store.
everyone else had iPhone, so I was like, "Oh, I don't know if they'll know how to like explain this." But I saw he had a Samsung, so I asked him, "Hey, how do you download apps?" He's like, "Oh, I got you, man." And then he downloaded like all the apps I needed. He's like, "I download Snapchat, Instagram, da 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 da." I was like, "Cool, thanks, man. I appreciate it." I'm being honest, man. I know I'm gonna sound like a dinosaur. This is my first smartphone. And he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been working with a Razor since I had it and stuff." But yeah, man, like I wasn't technically sound, but yeah, this woman always on her iPhone, bro. Always, dude. And like I don't know how our camp teacher, Mrs. Arkle, didn't catch her. Like, oh, like she had the headphones in and everything. But yeah, it's the worst. Like I literally had to carry her and stuff because like straight up, dude, she would not do anything. Like I think like the only thing she ever did was like was
Put her name
like
on it.
looking, huh?
Put her name on the assignment. Like, yeah.
No, I think the only thing she ever did was she turned on the Bunsen burner for me once. Like that was the only thing. Like I go to her. I'm not gonna say her name either. She is a nice person and stuff. She did buy me a drink at the high school reunion. She did apologize and stuff. And she's a great person and stuff. She's doing much better than what she was in high school and stuff. But I just remembered, like, I thought it was so funny that she posted in that Facebook thing because I was all like, man, she literally outed herself. Like, yeah, I was like the worst camp partner, but he carried me to like an 8 because like I was good at chemistry because chemistry was like math. So like I knew all that shit and stuff.
My
Like,
teacher hated me. My teacher hated me in chemistry.
no, really,
I
yeah.
got kicked out of class once. I got kicked out of class once.
Because I always remember the worst day, bro. This was like the worst day. It was like a pop. So we didn't have pop quizzes. We had pop labs. So I remember I come in and this day like was one of the I would say high school wise one of the worst days of my life. But I knew this day was going to be full of bullshit because we come in and stuff and stuff and she's just on her phone doing what she normally does. And then it was a pop lab and I was like, fuck it, I ain't gonna tell her. So I went to the lab station and stuff, and she's still on her phone at her desk and stuff. And I'm doing it and stuff. And I think she realized that she gets up and she comes to the station. She's just leaning back on her phone, not even helping me or doing anything. I'm doing everything and stuff. And so I was like, "Hey, are you going to present this?" I asked her that, and she goes, no." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And so then afterwards, I did everything, and then like the professor, the not professor, the teacher comes, Mrs. Arkle, she comes through, she's asking us all these questions and stuff. And so then she says my partner's name, not my name. And she literally just bullshitted the answer, but it was correct. So I was pissed because I was like, dude, she's not even paying attention, but she literally just bullshitted. She literally just looked at like one quick little thing and she answered the question. I was so pissed that day, dude.
Oh, dude. Like I said before, like my teacher hated me. I once got kicked out of class. Because one day he showed up, like he just showed up mad. Like one day, he throws like he closed the door, he slams the door, right? Throws his briefcase on the desk, right? But you could just tell by his body, like he was just like his body expression, he was just angry, like. And I'm like, Mr. Valentine, what's wrong, man? Did your wife take you to the couch last night? He was like, oh shit. He looked at me like, Mr. Guerrero, get out. Say less, bro. Say less. Hey, don't come back until I can speak to a guardian or your parent or guardian. So I had my cousin pass off as my uncle. And that was basically it. But it was funny as shit though. Cause I don't think he was expecting me to say that. You know what I mean? But it's like how dare you? Like, which is probably true, but for all we fucking know. Like again, a lot of these teachers are married, whatever the fuck it may be.
Yeah.
They got some shit going on at home, and it was whatever. You know what I mean? But Chief writes here, S3 was legendary. That was my first phone for a week, and then my dad got me an iPhone. LOL.
Yeah, I didn't really care what phone it was, like and stuff. I didn't know the difference. I think it was just the S3 was on sale at the time, but I've been a Samsung. Well, Samsung is like my personal phone. Like whenever my business phone is an iPhone and stuff. Like I barely use. Huh?
The most legendary app on any Android phone was G-Tunes back in the day.
Oh yeah,
G-Tunes was the shit, bro.
Yeah, dude. I still love Samsung. I think both phones are good. I just like Samsung because I feel when you purchase the phone, you get more lifespan with it. Because I feel like with iPhone, you have to always be updating and upgrading it. Like you can't keep so my work iPhone, which I still think works just fine, is an iPhone 12. Like I don't have an issue with it whatsoever. And whatnot, but I only use it for work purposes and stuff. It's mostly just that way I can easily talk to business, easily talk to people, FaceTime and whatever and stuff like that. But like my personal Samsung, I feel like I've always had my Samsung for the longest time because I had the S3, the S6, the S9, and then I
had the S6, the Edge. I had the Edge one.
I had the regular S6. I didn't have the Edge.
And it dropped on me.
Yeah, so I had the S6, then I went to the S9, and then after the S9, I did the S21 Ultra. And I had that was like my favorite phone was the S21 Ultra and stuff. Like that phone was so badass. Like it was like I never had a phone that I was more in love with than the S21 Ultra. The only reason why I upgraded was because they announced that they wouldn't support the phone past 2025. Like what I mean support is no more Android updates and stuff to improve certain aspects of the phone. So I was going to wait until actually the S25 Ultra to get a new phone. But then I saw that like the years, like because the cool thing about Samsung, you can see the depreciation value throughout the years. My phone would have depreciated to $150 on trade-in if I waited to get the S25. So I just bit the bullet and I got the S24 Ultra. The cool thing about the S24 Ultra is they said they'll keep updating this for the next for like the 6 years for when it came out. So since it came out in 2024, it should be good until 2029, 2030. So I'll have this phone until then, and then I'll upgrade to whatever the S30 Ultra or the S29 Ultra will be, whichever one comes first. But I just love the longevity you get out of Samsung because that's like every 3 years I have to change a phone compared to like iPhone, where I know so many people that like get the new one every single year or every 2 years they get a new phone.
Oh, of course. Like I said before, like, I was the opposite. I had an iPhone, the 3G at first, and then I upgraded. Then I moved to Android, right? and I had like an HTC phone, and then I went to Android. Then I went to Galaxy. I had the S3, then I had like the 6 Edge, and then I had the 7. And I had the 7 for like a hot minute, and then it just died on me. It just died. Like I had like the blue screen and shit, and it just stopped working. So then when I had to upgrade, they just I was thinking, oh, I'll just get another, another Galaxy S7, it'd be whatever. Oh, we don't make those phones anymore. And
Yeah.
at the time, I finally got this Mac. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get the iPhone. Screw it. And that's what happened. And the one thing I will say, the one thing that I miss about Galaxies in general, it's Samsung and all that stuff, is the camera.
They can't. The only thing that would make me change to Google Pixel is because the thing is because Tracy has a Google Pixel. Yeah, I love the camera quality on her phone. Like that's the only reason that would make me change it. But I love the camera. The camera on Samsung. Like no matter how much iPhone tries, they will never get there.
Yeah, they won't. Sadly, they won't. But it's just one of those things, But now that you're here, bro, like your thoughts on the cook-off between Cena and Cody round 3.
Oh, this is finally they did something. Like Jesus, no more you people promos. Cena insulting the fans. This was great. Cody coming in hot, pretty much saying, "So what are you gonna make fun of me of?" And then Cena calling him just pretty much a bad clone of him. Like, yeah, like you're just a chauffeur and stuff. And then Cody coming back. Cena came back one more time, and then then Cody finally with the at least they never chanted you can't wrestle. I thought this was great. I thought both men killed it on the mic and stuff. I felt they were getting like a little bit more personal with each other, and that's what I liked. I really did like that the personal animosity these guys had. And then afterwards, Cody, he got the vintage last stand. He got to hold the belt high. He's the one that's standing tall in the end. So I thought this was a great start to Monday Night Raw. It was a great segment. It almost felt like a go home segment, man, because this whole show, honestly, I would have rated it a lot higher if this was a go home show. But since it's not a go home show, it literally was like because like Cena's last night, see you at WrestleMania. It's like, so we're not going to see you for these next 2 weeks, huh? Like these next
challenging for the
Raw, SmackDowns, no Cena. That's very, very interesting. That's the route they're going to take. But no, I thought this was great. It's a great debate on who won the promo exchange. I leaned a little bit more towards Cody because I felt Cody, like he was really like standing his own with Cena. Not a lot of people can stand on their own with Cena, like especially when Cena, takes the knives out. And Cena was great here, and I just felt Cody was able to still keep the people. Like he didn't lose the people in this promo. That's why I give it to Cody, because like most of the time, when Cena's cooking, fans start to side with Cena. Like they'll like even the people that are saying Cena sucks, they start to side with Cena. But Cody, even though the fans were booing him after Cena eviscerated him, he was able to gain the people back. He because he really did the simple things like the company didn't choose me. These people did, and the fans got right behind back to Cody Rhodes and stuff. So that's why I give Cody just a slight. It was like such a close round. It was like a close fight. You don't know who won. The strikes are the same. They both got a takedown. It was tough, but I just gave the slight edge to Cody just because he was able to keep his composure, but regain the audience back on his side. He didn't let Cena just eviscerate him, and he didn't give Cena any openings. Like back in the past, remember when Roman Reigns was like trying to cut his promo, and then Cena's like, "Got a promo, kid. You better learn how to cut one if you want to be on the top." And then Cena just kept going.
Fine speech.
Yeah, and then it's also like with Austin Theory, where I felt Austin Theory was just like, he was still starstruck that he was in the ring with Cena, and he couldn't find a good counteract to when Cena says, nothing changes. If I win, I win. If I lose, I still win. Like he couldn't find a way to counteract. I felt Cody responded so well to what everything Cena was saying, and that's why I give him just a slight edge. Like I felt Cena, like he definitely, like I could see what people say. He definitely won when he said, "I build empires for billionaires. You just you just steal billion. You just steal money."
I said this in our chat, like, yo, it totally went over my head. And I'm like, oh shit. And then you guys told me, oh, it's about,
Tony,
TK.
yeah, it was about
Oh,
TK.
shit.
That was definitely the best line of the promo. But I do gotta respect Cody, being able to get the fans back on his side, to get the people back on his side. That to me was very impressive by Cody Rhodes there. And he did not give Cena any openings, because Cena will do it. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter where you're out of the card. If you stumble on your words, if you say something that were Cena, you give Cena an opening, he would have easily cut Cody Rhodes off at any point and would have just went into went into him, but he didn't. So that's why I have to give it to Cody, because he kept a good, strong composure in a war of words with Cena when many people can't.
I guess so. Like, to me, I kind of gave it a scene a little bit just for that line. I've built, empire for billionaires. All you did was take money from their kids. Just for me, like that, it's like that body shot that drops you like in round 5. You know what I mean? And then you got to get back up. And then Cody hit him with at least they never chanted, "You can wrestle." But that was like the desperation line, and it worked for the most part. But that's what we wanted to see. Like, you wanted to see, okay, we know how good Cody is in the mic. We know this, right? From watching him, not, from his time outside the Fed. But now you wanted to see Cody hang with him. In the last 2 weeks, we didn't get to really see that. But now that we did, it's like we said, it kind of felt like this was the go home show, even though it's not. You know what I mean? And now the challenge part is Cena's not going to be around up until WrestleMania. So what are we going to do? Like, are you going to have just Cody come out for the next 2 weeks, try to carry this, which he probably will, and, won't fail at it for the most part. But it's like, you kind of wish, like, yo, can we at least have Cena as a surprise on the go home show or something? Or The Rock come out or something, even though
we need a surprise at least. We need something like just like like how Rock came out in that episode of Chicago and stuff. We need something like that, because if we don't get one, it's kind of like because what video packages and Cody just cutting like the usual, like, I'm not gonna let John win 17 promos. It won't work.
No, it will not work. It will not work at all. But we can't wait, especially for us, because we're going to be there live, like you, me, Chief, and the rest of the boys. We're going to be there live for this, and it's going to be crazy to see. It's going to be crazy to see how they go through with this.
I'm going to give a little breaking news. So I am actually going to be filming stuff while I'm at WrestleMania Vegas, and then when I do get home, and whenever I have time, I don't know when this will release. It will just be whenever I can get time to edit the footage and stuff. But I'm going to be doing somewhat of a day in the life vlog, but it's not going to be a traditional vlog. It's just going to be me kind of talking over the trip and the experience, because sometimes I wish I filmed certain stuff. Like, it'll have cuts to where obviously like it's more of like candid stuff, or where we're actually talking and stuff, but it'll be more of like a debriefing video. So hopefully like at the end of April, early May, I can get that edited and going, because I want to edit it, and like I want to be able to like cut through stuff. It's more like a story time video. I don't know what to title it when it comes out, but it'll release on my channel, and then I'll give a copy to Steve so he can also release it here for the Around the Point Network people.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like for our plan, we're going to be streaming at WWE World. And basically, like, again, I've been having the itch to do a vlog as well, but I feel like also, instead we'll just probably do live streams on this channel. So expect late night streams live from the Vegas Strip and stuff like that here on the channel that WrestleMania weekend.
They might just come random too, people. So just know, like, these streams are not going to be like anything normal. They might just be late night whenever Steve pulls out the camera.
Yeah, or we're drunk as shit, or whatever the fuck it may be, and Just prepare for it. Prepare for it. You know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe even live streaming live from Hell's Kitchen. Who the fuck knows? If they allow us, you know what I mean? I think, hey, you got to put the camera down or some shit.
No, yeah, I don't think they allow it.
Yeah, for sure. But again, great opening segment for the most part. After this, we did get the tag team match between the New Day and the returning New Catch Republic of Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. Now, of course, being that they were in London, obviously Tyler Bate got a big pop. So did Pete Dunne for the most part. I thought the match, it was fine for what it was worth. You also got to remember the New Day, they want a shot at the tag titles, which they do deserve. You would think by now they should be the tag team champions. They should be. And for the most part, when it was all said and done, the New Day did get the win, but it was a good showing by New Catch Republic and a returning Tyler Bate. And then it was also, when the match was over, you see the New Day leaving, and then the Viking Raiders, that's my bad. The War Raiders, that what they're called? War Raiders or Viking Raiders, right?
Viking Raiders.
Viking Raiders show
No,
up.
no, the War Raiders. Who cares? They didn't get a pop. No one seemed to care.
No reaction at all. But they show, and they had like a little stare down by the ramp. I'm assuming this will be the tag team match at Raw before Mania or Raw after Mania, because I don't see them being. Yeah, you wish they would, but it's like I just don't see it, bro.
I think they'll be on the WrestleMania card, but that's definitely a filler 10-minute match somewhere in the card. Okay, we just had this good match. Let's put them on the card to just fill some time and stuff. So that'll be like, hey, let's go grab a drink. Let's go use the restroom type of match. Unfortunately, it's just New Day's heel turn happened mad late. Not their fault, but it did happen mad late. So it was just one of those that happened.
Underappreciated by the creative. Underappreciated.
Yeah, like it happened. Like they honestly should have been like champions after the heel turn, but they wanted to push the War Raiders. That was their agenda. They really wanted to push them, and the War Raiders, they really had nothing really to work with on from a character perspective. Like they just come out every once in a while, defend the tag titles, but this is where sometimes the tag team championships not being on PLE hurts them a little bit, because the PLEs, that's where, you get like maybe a little bit of a hotter crowd, maybe more of like people like will get to see their matches. And just depending on Raw, where most people consider them filler matches, it doesn't really help. Like they just had like a mini program with American Made, and after that, they have been AWOL. So like they haven't been, featured as heavily as the champs. So
for sure. But let's see what happens with them, and hopefully, like you said, they get a match on the WrestleMania card, but just won't get a pop, and this will be probably the bathroom break or grab your drink break or check what social media is saying about the show and all that stuff. After this, we did see backstage Jey Uso with Jimmy, and Jimmy tells Jey that he will beat Gunther tonight. That Gunther just another man that can be beaten, has been beaten before. And then we get Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. And as everyone expected, Jimmy held his own for the most part. That's the one thing about Gunther. He'll bump around for you, right? But when it was all said and done, Gunther did pick up the win. And you were wondering, okay, where is this beatdown going to happen, right? Because the thought was, okay, Gunther is going to just demolish Jimmy Uso, right? And he did, after the match, he goes to beat up on Jimmy. Jey makes the save, right? It looks like, right, he gets more aggressive, right? That's what Jimmy wants to see from Jey. That the old Jey Uso, right? Main event Jey Uso, the right-hand man Jey Uso, right? That's what he wanted to see, right? And it looked like we got it. It looked like it, right? And they go to commercial. You see Gunther leaving through the crowd, all scared, what have you, right? And you see that they go to commercial. They come back and like they're trying to like get Jimmy and Jey like clear and all that stuff. Like they're leaving, and then Gunther comes back out, beats up on Jey, ties him. He has like zip ties, right? And he ties him onto the rope so he can see just the beating that Gunther was dishing out to Jimmy Uso, blooding him up, right? And just a visual of like Gunther grabbing the blood of Jimmy Uso, right? And just putting it on his chest, his face, like great visual, great fucking visual. But what this does is it fuels the rage that Jay now is gonna have going into WrestleMania. This is what this program needed, for the most part. Your thoughts, Chase?
Yeah, this was definitely a jump start. Like, I didn't think they would use blood, but the blood was super effective for this segment. Yeah, this was very strong, and it really showed that like Jay and Gunther, like they ramped it up just a little bit more, and you showed like what Jay has to go through in Gunther, and doing that to Jimmy, who's like pretty much always the vehicle. Like Jimmy's always like the engine that helps the Bloodline storylines, and now he's helping Jay's storyline, and yeah, they executed this really really well and made Gunther look like an absolute threat to Jay Uso of what he's going to do. Overall, great stuff. And honestly, it was like I literally was like, man, this Raw might be a great episode right now. And then the rest of the show happened up until the main event, and
Yeah,
then it was just like, oh, okay, like what happened here? Well,
sure.
we were on it. Like, this was weird. No Punk, no Rollins at all. Like, and they were in London, so like, what? They couldn't stay the extra 2 days after SmackDown.
It's funny you say that. So it turns out that Punk did wrestle the dark match. Because there was like footage of him, after Raw went off the air, like I guess saying, thanking the crowd and all that stuff. Again, it was the end of the European tour. So he did wrestle a dark match once, Raw was over.
Yeah, you would think after Punk got a WrestleMania main event that he would come out, cut a quick promo talking about like how he's so and like teasing the favor a little bit more, but nothing. We didn't hear anything. We said we got AJ Styles and Logan Paul cutting a promo. Like,
glad you mentioned that. Glad you mentioned that, bro. Because look, man, I know we're not into that yet, but I'm gonna just say this right now, bro. I'm happy, bro, because finally, bro, the Maverick is gonna give this guy, this old man, the wrestling lesson of a lifetime at WrestleMania, bro. Logan Paul is gonna demolish, put him to pasture AJ Styles at WrestleMania. I cannot wait, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Logan Paul might be AJ Styles' best WrestleMania match, and this dude has wrestled Chris Jericho, Edge, Randy Orton,
Shane McMahon.
Shane's his best match, and it's like Undertaker. Like, I guess Undertaker matches people like, but in terms of a traditional in-ring match, it is this one.
Dude, I can't wait, dude. Like, bro, 50-45 all the way, bro. 50-45, dude. Can't wait, bro. Cannot wait.
Stay humble.
Cannot wait, bro. Cannot wait. Styles versus Logan. Let me see here. AJ getting the rub. Of course he's getting the rub, bro. Biggest payday of his career, bro. AJ Styles versus Logan match could steal. Brother, it will steal the show. When you look back at WrestleMania 41, 10 years from now, damn, what was the best match of that weekend? Logan Paul, bro. Logan Paul will be the MVP of WrestleMania. I really do wish Chase that the big SOB was on the show too, man. But
hey, he's getting there. He's gonna be fighting for the U.S. title. What are we talking about? Don't worry, my dog Braun Strowman. He getting there. Do you hear those chants on Friday, man? LA Night over as hell. I don't know. Those UK fans were chanting SOB. SOB. That's almost like it's almost like EST, bro. Like, hey, revamp Braun Strowman. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, could be champ.
Gunther looks psycho. Now I'm hyped for Jay getting his revenge. Yeet.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. Like that's the match I'm looking forward to, despite it not being a main event anymore. But
there's some people who think there's some people out there who are under the impression that it could very well be the main event. I'm like, no, brother. I told it to my godson. I told it to my godson.
What? WrestleMania SmackDown?
I told my godson, look, brother. Sorry, Jay, you're opening the show. He just laughed like, oh, with like the teary emoji, just laughing and shit. Like,
opening match, Jey Uso is now in your city. Gotta get the remix.
Besides, you need something to get people excited. You need something to get people like, oh wow, now I'm really excited. You know what I mean?
You also need a match where people can't show up late to the venue, because like that's the thing. WWE doesn't do like those pre-show matches anymore. They just kind of do like the Sports Center thing, but like. People, it's going to take ages for them to get to the venue. By the way, coming next weekish, Steve and I are going to be doing part 2 of WrestleMania Vegas. and stuff, tips and tricks and stuff. And this one's going to be more about, just common themes, essentials, and stuff like that. It's not going to be like one where it's like breaking down everything, but just common essentials like casino etiquette, what you should do on the casino floor, what you shouldn't do, and everything of that nature. So yeah, just more like basic stuff. Shoes that you should probably bring, sunscreen, da da da. Like just stuff. Most importantly, in that it will be Uber, Lyft, all these rideshare app informations that I feel will provide very useful, and like we'll let you guys know, like pretty much it's just there to kind of help you. Treat it as like a survival guide, if you
It's
will.
like at this point, look, at this point, if you're going at this stage of the trip, you got your tickets, you got your hotel, all your
Yeah, even if you're not going to the show and you're gonna find a place to watch it, there, I know like certain places are hosting viewing parties and everything and whatnot. So
of course, but you get the idea. At this point, a good majority got their tickets, right? They know what they're doing as far as shows for that weekend and all that stuff. So this is more like we said, like proper etiquette, how to like handle yourself at the casino floors, what to wear, footwear, and all that stuff.
yeah, because a lot of y'all will be walking, man, and I'm gonna give you guys suggestions. Maybe these are last minute things that you purchase. Maybe these are things that you're thinking to yourself, or you're trying to get into a club. You want to know how you need to be dressed for certain clubs and stuff. Because, like, look, no offense to wrestling fans, a lot of y'all don't know how to style. It's just it is what it is.
Chase, we'll be styling, bro. Friday, we'll be styling Club
Oh,
Palms, bro.
yeah.
Club Palms, bro. We're styling, bro.
We're going to the club in the Palms, man.
We'll be styling and profiling, bro. All we need are belts. Jagan right here. Did Brock Lesnar help elevate Roman Reigns the most since he jobbed out him multiple times?
That's a really odd question to ask.
Yeah.
I feel like Paul Heyman elevated Roman Reigns more than Brock Lesnar. Once he added Heyman, that's what kind of like got him going.
Happy 45th birthday to Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Randy. Happy birthday. And likely he'll be potentially one of Cena's first feuds coming out of WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
For sure. It'll be 2009 all over again. Cannot wait. But after this, though, we did get the Judgment Day of Dominic and Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker and Penta. So it looks like the Judgment Day they're on the right page. They're on the same page now. Everything is good now, right? No more of this. We need a new member bullshit, right? And the match, look, for the most part, it was an odd pairing of Braun Breaker and Penta. Everything was going good, right? Up until the end where Braun Breaker, by accident, speared Penta. Some say it was an accident. Some say it wasn't an accident, right? Depending who you listen to and all that stuff. But that's what helped Finn Balor pin Penta. And if you watch after the match, like backstage, Finn Balor was, claiming, I'm the one who got the win. I did all this, right? And he's going to go to Adam Pearce to get himself a shot at the Intercontinental title, to which also Liv Morgan wasn't happy with by hearing all this. And in her mind, she wants Dominic to go to Pearce and get himself a title match. So in a way, it's like Liv Morgan is starting trouble when everything is getting, it looks like everything's on the same page all over again. But it's Liv Morgan who's causing this trouble, it seems like. What do you say, Chase?
Yeah, she's stirring the pot, and also on social media, like, she's reminding, like, 2 weeks ago she retweeted or reposted it's now about Finn, calling Dom a snake, and people thought, oh, she turned it on Dom, but I think she was reposting it so that way Dom can learn the message. This is what Finn thinks of you. Like, it's clearly a power struggle between Finn and Liv Morgan of, like, who's going to be in the Judgment Day still. Finn's acting cocky. He's doing great character work. I think Romeo said it on the Trio Heat Raw review that this great delusional Finn Balor character. It's hilarious. Like, he thinks that, like, he's not in the wrong. Everyone else is doing wrong, but not him. and that he deserves the IC title match. Um, but yeah, it's actually some plot progression for the Judgment Day storyline. It's been kind of in neutral since the Rhea and Damian feuds concluded, and we've been kind of like stuck on this. Oh well, they add a new member. Is there a new member? Blah blah blah. And now we're at a point where it's like, oh okay, like there might be some tension and stuff. And so like the tag match was fine. It was just a decent tag match, nothing to write home about. Good tension building between Braun and Penta. But yeah, good stuff with the Judgment Day. I'm glad that there's some story progression being told. And I wasn't as like, when the rumor came out that they're going to do this fatal 4-way, people were so pissed at it. I was just like, why? Like, what's wrong with this? You got Braun, you got Penta, you got Finn, you got Dom. Like, I'm happy for Dom. He's not forced to be in a WrestleMania match with his fucking dad. Dad's leaving him alone. His dad's leaving him alone for once. He's not forcing him to do some stupid Mysterio tag match or force him in a Mysterio feud. It's like, cool. Finally, Dom is going to be on his own at WrestleMania. I'm happy for him.
Free finally, bro. Finally free. Who knows? Maybe had they gone that direction, Dom might have won. Can you imagine that reaction? Dominic Mysterio as the Intercontinental Champion?
I think he's the favorite.
Oh, bro. I hope he is.
I think it's between Dom and Penta. Because like Finn can't win, because if you want the story to progress, you can't have Finn win. And Braun, it's almost like, okay, like you've had 2 times with this IC belt. First time was good. Second time, some bright spots, some misses, but it's almost time where it's like, hey, look, like this guy is an irresistible force. We got to start getting him into that world title scene. And especially
a good program for Jay. The good program for Jay.
Yeah, good program for Jay, especially if you don't believe Jay is like your traditional world champion where he holds the belt for at least 6 months. It's like Braun wouldn't be like a bad person to get the belt onto as soon as possible, where you build him up. But yeah, I think it's time to get the main event Braun Breaker push going, and so he has to lose the IC title
for sure.
Got to get a world strap on this guy before everything cools down for him.
If WWE, this from Jake, and if WWE did the Summer of Punk correctly, how far would have Punk gone in terms of star power? Would the WWE have gone behind him more, like him beating part-timers like Triple H, Brock, and Rock?
No, not really. It doesn't matter, because the problem is Punk doesn't have the political pool like those 3 do. Like those three have, even if the Summer of Punk went correctly, first of all, WWE would have to let CM Punk wrestle independent shows and do that. It's a lot of things where it's like, even though if Punk would have done this and he became a bigger star, it doesn't matter how big your star is. You still got to realize at that time, like put in perspective, Brock is still fresh off UFC, so people still think he's one of the most badass dudes on the planet. The Rock is literally hitting his peak in popularity when it comes to movies and Forbes box office and everything. Maybe against Triple H he would have a little bit more pull, but then Triple H, he's close to Vince, so he would have politicked his way to win. And Punk was very much still like thrilled that like he got the opportunity in the spot. He was still like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. He was still blinded by like, everything's going great with me. He just signed like a big contract. He was making the most money he's ever made in his wrestling career. So like he was still blinded by that like the politics for him. Like, Punk is just Punk learned politics after he left WWE the first time. That's where Punk learned how to politic and stuff. Like Punk became a better politician when he left WWE. Like him doing the Summer of Punk, becoming a bigger star in terms of the wrestling fans, it wouldn't have changed his position between those 3. Maybe Cena. Maybe he had more say against Cena, but not against like those 3. Those are hard 3 people to overcome.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. What if Finn Balor didn't get injured and had his Universal title reign? He would have lost to Goldberg.
Yeah,
Goldberg.
The Demon would have been killed. Like he would have just had like a generic babyface run as the Universal Champion. Like nothing that would have helped him, to be honest. It would have just been a generic babyface run, and then whenever he needs it, he becomes the diamond, and then he'll wear the paint and all that other stuff. And then, like, ultimately, the diamond would have been ruined because Goldberg would have speared him to oblivion, because they were always going to have Goldberg win the title. The whole point of Goldberg and Lesnar was to elevate the Universal title, because the Universal title was just a belt that they didn't view as like a big time belt. Like people were still complaining, like saying that this is not a championship. The WWE Championship is still the championship.
Of course. Jagan writes here, if Brock Lesnar had never left WWE in 04 and never went to the UFC, would Dana White sign Kimbo earlier or sign Fedor? He probably would have had a better chance signing Kimbo. Fedor, yeah, at the time, Dana tried. Dana flew to some random island. Depending on who you listen to, like he traveled to some random island to meet up with Fedor. At the time, I think Fedor had like ownership of M1 Global.
M1 Global owned Fedor pretty much.
Yeah. So what they wanted, all right, if we're bringing in Fedor to the UFC, we want to co-promote UFC and M1 Global, and Dana just didn't want to do that. He just wanted Fedor to fight Randy Couture. Randy left the UFC just so he could fight Fedor, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
If you want to see that fight, just buy EA MMA and put them both on AI and see what happens.
Yeah, Fedor had no chance of ever signing with the UFC. Dana wouldn't even try to push to get, because the M1 Global thing ruined everything. Brock staying in WWE does not change Dana co-promoting with M1 Global. Like that was something they weren't willing to do, and that was a deal breaker at the end of the day. I don't think he would have rushed Kimbo Slice. Honestly, he would have found someone for the heavyweight division. Like he would have found someone and stuff, like maybe a Force Rashad to fight at heavyweight or something. Like say like, hey, you're not light heavyweight, fight at heavyweight.
Yeah, or Frank Mir, pretty much, or Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez would have been champion real faster than normal, but that's no here or there. I think Punk might have beaten Triple H on May 28 or somewhere else. Probably loses to Brock, and Brock. I think him and Brock would main event WrestleMania 29. Could have been, but it's just one of those situations where they went with Cena, and
Cena was still the bigger name, though. It doesn't matter. Like
that is true.
But like Cena was still the guy for them. Punk. The thing with Punk was that like his merch sales weren't as consistent as Cena's.
Yes, absolutely. But after this, we did see Adam Pearce backstage with Chad Gable, and he informed Chad Gable that next week it will be the return of El Grande Americano returning to action live in Minneapolis. Chad Gable's neck of the woods, and Chad Gable had a doctor's note. And Chad Gable's like, you know what, though? I should be back to ready to go by next week. I can get cleared, but Chad Pierce was like, no, the doctor's note says you're not, and that's official. So people still thinking that it's Chad Gable. I don't think it is, though, bro. I don't know what people are talking about. Del Grande Americano and Chad Gable are the same. No, they're not. Look at this. Did that look like Chad Gable to you? Look at that face. Look at the eyes. He looks Chinese.
Okay, that's ridiculous. He's obviously a Hispanic man, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
For sure, absolutely. From there, we saw backstage. Oh, my bad. We talked about it already. Logan Paul. He was supposed to call out AJ Styles, and they ended up AJ calling out Logan. But he was tired of waiting. Logan said he forgave AJ for what happened in Madison Square Garden. And this led to them just basically, you know what? Logan say, look, I don't fight for free, especially in London, because London is broke. He fights on the big stage. That's WrestleMania, right? That's what they were insinuating, right? And then that ended up with Logan getting the last word, and he attacked AJ. I think he hit Theory's finisher on AJ.
One of Theory's moves that he did on the indie. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
More often Theory, all his moveset being stolen.
Yes, man. If I'm Theory, like I'm putting my foot down, bro. I'm putting my foot down.
He's too nice of a guy. He can't do it, man. He's such a nice human being in general. He can't do it. Theory's one of those guys where it's like if he
John
had
Morrison
more.
without the chick. He's John Morrison without the lady. Put it that way.
Huh?
He's John Morrison without Melina, if you get what I'm saying.
That's not even what it is at all. But Theory's just a nice guy in general. Like the problem with Theory is this: he's so young, he's so happy that he's in WWE. This was his dream. That like everything is just awesome to him, and so he doesn't have like the asshole in him to like politic or do anything. Like he's literally just like he's just a nice dude, and you just can't change it.
For sure. What's going on, Davey? What's up, y'all? Late arrival, but solid show last night, for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, we mentioned this moments ago. It will be Logan Paul giving AJ Styles the biggest WrestleMania match of his career, the biggest payday of his career. And if you're AJ Styles, bro, honestly, if I'm AJ, bro, do a Jeff Jarrett Bash at the Beach to just lay down, bro. Save yourself the embarrassment, bro. Put the fries in the bag, bro, and go on some podcast and talk about stuff. That's what he needs to be after this, bro. Hands down, bro. I can't wait and see this live, bro. I'm gonna be screaming, I'm gonna be cheering for the Maverick, bro. I can't wait, bro. I can't wait, dude. Everyone gonna be boom. I'm gonna be the only one cheering, bro. Just like WrestleMania 32, bro.
So I have a chant that I want to try to do during the Braun match. I'm going to scream "Where are my dogs at?" and then you guys start barking, and then hopefully we can get our section to chant it.
Or we do Logan Paul.
I don't think that will work. I don't think that will work, Steve. But we could try.
We tried. We saw Lara Valkyria reveal that next week she will be once again defending her title in another wrestling match, this time against Bayley. Look, if I'm them, not to put the belt on Bayley. Just put the belt on Bayley already. But just
sure, yeah,
get it out of the way. Get it.
Should be a good match.
Should be a fun match. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but I just
think poor Bayley, bro. Had such a great build last WrestleMania. Now this one lost in the shuffle. Nothing.
At least look. Let's put it this way: if she's doing WWE World or any of these meetups, right?
Yeah, she's not Alexa Bliss, who's just
at least you get to go with the belt. Get to go with the title. Fans will take.
Do you think Roxanne reappears? Do you think Roxanne reappears for this one?
It became the forgotten program, right? It's like everyone was under the impression it'll be
what if Roxanne just didn't have a passport? Like, Roxanne's young. Most young people don't get their passports.
Oh, you need a passport to travel domestic? Oh yeah, Europe. It's right. Yeah. Europe. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if Roxanne don't have a passport? Like we don't know this. Like we don't know her. What if she was like? What if it was just like her she never got one? Because do we know? I can't remember. Did Roxanne on the Independents ever like wrestle like in Japan and stuff like that? Like Mexico, like let's be real, you can hide. It's easy to get through that border and stuff.
Good question. I don't recall.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think Roxanne, she just wrestled in U.S., right? I don't think she ever wrestled in Mexico or whatever.
She might have done the Crash. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I cannot remember any like Roxanne international matches. So maybe that's why they put the feud on hold, was because it was just like passport issues. She never got. Most young kids, they don't think about getting a passport for whatever reason.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them, again, they don't think about flying. Like you hear, like when you're young, I want to travel, but the idea you want to travel the world, but you just forget the essential of getting a U.S. passport or passport in general. Or visa.
Yeah,
I know for different countries and different requirements and shit like that. So
yeah, could be one of those things, man. It could be one of those things with Roxanne. Maybe she just didn't have a passport, or maybe her passport expired and she never renewed it. Maybe that's why we put the feud on ice. It was like passport issues, and then she comes out like a viper, like Randy Orton, just comes out of nowhere, pop rocks out of nowhere.
Exactly. And then after this, we did.
And then they set up my ladder match that I want, the 5-woman ladder match, and you have Bayley and never mind. No, they probably won't. I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
You never know, Chase. Anything is
I'm
possible.
not going to be like fans who are getting their hopes up for Swerve winning the AEW World Title. Just be disappointed when Moxley walks out as champ. I'm not getting my hopes up. Not getting my hopes up.
What are the odds on that, by the way? What are the odds?
Mox is a favorite at minus 500. Swerve is plus 300.
Yeah, sorry, Swerve. It's just not.
Yeah, like once you see minus 500, it's like
all I'm saying is if Mox wins on Sunday, I'm for it, dude. I'm more for it for the reaction on Twitter. That's what I'm mostly for it, to be honest.
You know what the crazier one? You know how people have been saying that Megan Bain should go all the way? Like people have been wanting, like are like literally saying Tony should just strap her. You want to hear the odds for this match? Tony Storm is a minus 4,000. Megan Bain is a plus 1,000. That she ain't getting the strap.
No, hell no. If you want to, I hope you look. If you guys want to put money on Megan Bain, I hope it's a free bonus bet that you have.
Dude, they don't give bonus bets on Bet Online. I'm tempted just to put $10 down, just to say, yeah, man, that's cool. I hit a plus 10,000, but I don't even think it's worth it.
Just put a buck, and see what happens. See what happens. But then we got the main event. We had Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky for the Women's World Championship with special guest referee Bianca Belair, who last week had no idea how to be a referee, no clue how to ref, and also we see earlier in the night she's getting like tips of what to do being a referee and all that stuff. And there was that little spot on the outside. Things happen. Okay, we're human. Okay, it happens. The little botch at the end. It is what it is. But you just knew going into this, there was not going to be a definitive winner. There was not going to be like a 1-2-3 decision. All of this is going to lead to the most part, all three women going at it at WrestleMania. It ends in a double disqualification when I guess Bianca Belair just had enough of the disrespect. And she just called for the bell. And it ends with Rhea Ripley laying out both women.
Yep.
And with the belt. And look, man, this most likely will mean at WrestleMania, three-way, probably night one. I would say night one.
No, I'd say night two.
You think? You think Charlotte going night one?
Yeah, she co-mains night one.
No, for sure. You know what? Again, with the exception of obviously Cena, Cody, and the three-way between Roman, Punk, and Rollins, they should just leave everyone as a mystery. Like, let it be like a mystery vortex.
Don't do that. That's a horrible fucking idea because you gotta let people know what they're going into.
By now you would know. By now you would. By now,
because we know two matches for night one. It's Randy and KO, and then the triple threat.
That's gonna be crazy too. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, so we know that. No, because this match is a perfect night one opener, night two opener.
You think?
It either opens night two or co-mains night two. But I feel like you can co-main night two with Drew and Damian as well.
That too. That could be.
Because I can't think of a night because like night one is like I feel night one is pretty much like set in terms of like Jay and Gunther are going to open. Charlotte and Tippy are going to be the co-main. Orton and KO is your featured singles match. Then you have the triple threat as the main. Then you just got to get whatever mid-card title you want to put in there, whatever tag title you want to put in there, and then whatever women mid-card title you want to put in there and stuff. That is if they do a women's mid-card match at WrestleMania and not save it for WrestleMania SmackDown and stuff. So it all depends. It's honestly just like kind of like that. But no, you can't do a mystery vortex. You got to let people know. You got to, especially investors, people that are looking to buy tickets last minute. Dude, could you imagine if you said, "Oh, I want to go to night two," but you were looking forward to watching this said match and that said match happened at night one? That'd be horrible. You can't do that. Don't mystery vortex this.
For sure, that's fine. But again, I'm just saying because I feel like by now you would have known the matches and stuff like that. But I get what you're saying, though, Chase. I get what you're saying. Look, it's already looking like a good card so far. Like as far as the matches that we have so far, you obviously have Cody and Cena, triple threat, Roman, Punk, and Rollins. That's closing night one. You have Io, and Bianca, but they're going to add Rhea sometime in the next
Imagine
2 weeks.
Rhea's just like fuck it. She just goes for the IC title.
Hey, look, you need to elevate that title, right? So why not? Gunther and Jey Uso. You have Tiffany and Charlotte, Kevin and Randy, and obviously my guy, the Maverick, Logan Paul, against Old Man Styles. So there you go. Likely we'll be doing a preview of WrestleMania the Tuesday before we head out. That's probably the plan of attack here. But look, man, I know it's already April. I'm just counting it down, bro. Like I said earlier, work was a drag. I work at the airport, so I'm seeing all these planes leaving and taking off and landing and shit. And I'm like, I can't wait to be on the other side. I can't wait, bro. Cannot wait. Especially the hour that I'm leaving. Like, you see the sunrise. You know what I mean? That's the one thing about my job that I love. I get to see the sunrise every fucking day. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, can't wait, bro. Can't wait for the most part. But yeah, like we said earlier too, sometime next week we will be doing a part 2 of tips and how to WrestleMania tips. This time is how to behave on the Vegas Strip, what to do or what not to do in Vegas, and also Ubers, Lyfts, the whole works basically. If you have not checked our part 1, go give it a watch. Me and Chase did this literally last summer when the word was official that, hey, it's in Vegas. So go give that a watch whenever you get a chance. All right. But that's going to be it for us. Speaking of Mystery Vortex, it is returning this Thursday as part of ATP Gaming. This is where all the stuff that we've built to all the booking just go out the window. It goes out the window. And then after that, it's our, we make the move or may not make the move to 2K25. We've got to figure it out. So we're going to be taking a little hiatus from ATP Gaming after Mystery Vortex. All right. But join me tomorrow for another live edition of Sad Something About Dynamite, the watch party, the go home show to AEW Dynasty, which goes down this Sunday, which I want to see what is the card for tomorrow on AEW Dynamite. I want to see the card here. I know a lot of people are celebrating combined numbers and stuff like that. It is Adam Copeland versus Claudio tomorrow. It is also John Moxley, Marina Shafir teaming up to go up against Willow Nightingale and Swerve Strickland. Yeah, and also it's gonna be Megan. It's gonna be Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford, and also we'll see the return of Will Ospreay tomorrow.
The return
should be an exciting one. Also,
he been gone. He's been gone a week.
Yeah,
the return of Will Ospreay. Like, he's been gone for like 3 months.
Exactly.
He's been gone for just a week.
He's been gone for a week. Like, bro, this is what happened.
Just put Will Ospreay in action. What do you mean the return of Will Ospreay?
For all we know, look, he might have just been in the state, probably looking for property in the state. We don't know, right?
The return. Didn't he wrestle last week?
No,
I don't think he did. That's funny. The return of Will Ospreay. Like, what do you mean? He was just gone a week.
Hold up. Is he wrestling on Dynasty? Correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I've been out of the loop here.
I'm sure they'll find a match for him. It's not hard. I'm pretty sure this returned after a week long hiatus. He'll cut a promo, and maybe that's where they kick off to Owen.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, they're gonna kick off the Owen. I know they have the women's bracket. They're gonna announce the men's bracket too.
Yeah, or maybe we get a preview of the Owen. Like, maybe we'll have Ospreay take on Jay White. As like a preview of some sorts.
It's like New Japan Pro Wrestling all over again.
Yeah, like maybe that's what we'll do instead of like doing an Owen match. Make it a preview of like, oh, this is a special preview of the Owen Hart Classic tournament, which kicks off next Wednesday on Dynamite. Oh, like kind of one of those matches. So that could be what the plan is here. Just have Ospreay take on Jay White or something.
And also this Saturday, I think Romeo's doing it. Romeo Mania this Saturday kicks off.
Yeah. Yep.
So on the channel. So make sure you guys tune in for that one. I think the 24 hours. It's a 24-hour stream, right? If I remember correctly.
I don't know. We gotta talk to Romeo. We don't know.
I don't want to put what. Yeah, I don't forget that last part. So next thing I know, Steve, why you say 24 hours? It's not again. I don't know. But yeah, the cold melter. I don't know. But this is gonna be also this next Monday. It will be again the return of El Grande Americano, the greatest luchador to come out of the Gulf of America. Lara Valkyria defending the Women's Intercontinental Champion against Bayley. And we'll also hear from Seth Rollins next Monday on Raw. You know, he's upset. He's mad that Punk's getting this main event spot. And you know how sacred he views the main event after what we saw on Friday when he just lost his shit. But that's going to be it for us, guys. Again, tune in tomorrow for SAD, the watch party. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Point Network. Follow me on X at Heel Steven Chase. Let them know where can they check you out.
Yeah, follow me on X at ChaseOver68.
Thank you all for watching. Much love to all of you guys. For myself, for Chase, and for the gang, this has been the Raw Rundown here on the Around the Point Network.